C.S. Lewis writes again on the absurdity of courtly love, which has captured the modern times with an obsession with romantic love, where the man must win my lady's heart and meet her every whim. Pastor Dalrock writes about C.S. Lewis' book, The Allegory of Love, and he explains that because the concept of courtly love has fully transformed our modern view of sexual passion, we misread even prior works as if they had the same exact theme. And so C.S. Lewis uses the example of Ovid's Art of Love, which is written in medieval times. So C.S. Lewis, he describes an ironic poem on the art of seduction. So in the poem, in Ovid's poem, C.S. Lewis points out he's saying a thing that we would take to be literal today, and Ovid was meaning it to be satirical when he wrote it about love and seducing a woman. So here, Ovid says in his poem, he says, "Go early ere appointed hour to meet the fair and long-awaited her in the street. Through shouldering crowds on all her errands run, through graver business wait, and while undone, if she commands your presence on her way, home from the ball to lackey her, obey. Or if from rural scenes she bids you come, drive if you can, if not, then walk to Rome. And let nor dog-star heats, nor drifted load of whitening snows deter you from the road. Cowards, fly hence. Our general love disdains your lukewarm service in his long campaigns." All right, so this is supposed to be satirical about how to seduce a woman, and yet C.S. Lewis is saying if we read this in the modern day, we would take it literal. I mean, you probably have heard some evangelical pastors even almost preach this about loving your wife. Here. So C.S. Lewis says Ovid sat down to compose for the amusement of a society which well understood him an ironically didactic poem on the art of seduction. The very design of his art of love presupposes an audience to whom love is one of the minor peccadilloes of life, and the joke consists in treating it seriously and writing a treatise with rules and examples for the nice conduct of illicit loves. I think that's interesting that C.S. Lewis is saying romantic love back in the medieval times was a minor peccadillo of life. I think he's saying, and now we've made it a complete obsession in modern life. He goes on to say, it's funny as the ritual solemnity of old gentlemen over their wine is funny. Food, drink, and sex are the oldest jokes in the world, and one familiar form of the joke is to be very serious about them. I mean, what? So, well, it's good stuff to think about, especially coming from C.S. Lewis, a very deep thinker. Lewis explains that this is a joke. He's mocking the foolish way men pedestalize women and set out to satisfy their every whim, which is truly a fool's errand. Since we have adopted the foolish view of courtly love, we can't imagine Ovid's mocking as anything other than sincere. So Lewis goes on to write about this to kind of wrap up. He says, no one who has caught the spirit of the author will misunderstand this. The conduct which Ovid recommends is felt to be shameful and absurd, and that is precisely why he recommends it, partly as comic confession of the depths to which this ridiculous appetite may bring a man, and partly as a lesson in the art of fooling to the top of her bent and the last baggage who has caught your fancy. This is put with emphasis about C.S. Lewis. He said, C.S. Lewis says the whole passage should be taken in conjunction with his other piece of advice: don't visit her on her birthday, it costs too much. Don't visit your girlfriend on her birthday, it costs too much. Lewis says, but it will also be noticed, and this is a pretty instance of the vast change which occurred during the Middle Ages, that the very same conduct which Ovid ironically recommends could be recommended seriously a little while later by the courtly tradition, courtly love. To leap up on errands, to go through heat or cold at the bidding of one's lady, or even any lady, would seem but honorable and natural to a gentleman of the 13th or even the 17th century. And so 13th, 17th, that's where he's saying the idea of courtly love had completely just taken over in society. This is interesting stuff. This is interesting stuff. I think C.S. Lewis, this is good stuff that he wrote about romantic love, courtly love. It's good. Yeah, if you're liking this content, hey, give me a like, subscribe, give me a comment. I need a few comments down below. With all that being said, we got to get it turned around, though. We gotta get this obsession with romantic love and the pedestalization of women. We got to get that turned around, because Christ is winning. He's building his church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. Until next time, this is the Post Millennial Man.